Hello again, everybody. I thought this week I'd talk a little bit about this stuff. It's hide glue. Now again, I realise that this is probably mostly of interest to acoustic builders, not so much you electric guys, but I'm going to do it anyway. I do use other glues for different purposes, like, Type Bond and CA glue and epoxy, all the usual stuff. But I like hide glue very much, and I'm going to list some of the advantages and perhaps some of the things which put people off using it when largely they needn't. So the reason I use it mainly in my instruments is that for acoustic instruments it's supposed to give a better sound quality because of the way it dries. It dries to a sort of glassy hardness and so transmits sound very well. There's no damping in it. So for example, when you're joining two halves of a guitar top or the bridge onto a top, you want optimum sound transmission through the wood or between two pieces of wood. And so this is really the principal reason I use it. And I use it for all what I call acoustically important joints. So basically everything on the top, all the braces, the top itself joint and the bridge. I also use it to joint the back, but things like, well, most of the other joints on a guitar I don't bother to use it for. I use other glues. It has other advantages though. It's got an indefinite shelf life. This is the way it comes. It comes as granules, which are quite hard, and these will literally keep for decades, probably hundreds of years, I don't know. And talking of hundreds of years, this to me is another advantage. It's proved its longevity. There are still pieces of furniture around which are hundreds of years old, even thousands, I believe, because this goes back to the, ancient Egyptians and people. And these joints are still strong and have held firm throughout the centuries. So there's no question in my mind that it's, it's a long-lived, suitable glue for what you hope will be a long-lived piece of work. This being said, a side benefit of having an indefinite shelf life is that it's very cheap, because you buy one lot. This is just a small sample of a bag you normally buy, and it will last you for ages because you only make up small amounts at a time and you never have to throw any away. So really cost-wise it's a no-brainer. A couple of other advantages of it are that it's reversible, and this is why, or it's partly why, makers of violins and the violin family in general, for example, continue to use hide glue. I mean, they had probably little option in the past because modern glues weren't available, but they still use hide glue because it very often tops and backs have to come off cellos and violins and so on for various reasons, and it's very easily done with hide glue, much less so with things like Type Bond or epoxy. And the secondary benefit of, which is related to this, is that it sticks to itself. So when you do take two pieces apart, you don't actually need to clean off all the old glue in the way that you would with Type Bond or epoxy. So you can just put new glue on, and it will, if the other conditions are right, the temperature and you've got enough water involved, the old glue will actually stick to the new glue, or just to itself. You can literally put hot water on old glue and stick two pieces together and they will join together just as if the glue was fresh. So these to me are two major advantages of hide glue. Some of the things which put people off are perhaps the amount of equipment you might need, but I'm going to show you it's very little actually, and it's I've developed a sort of process or way of working with it, which means it's almost as convenient as glue in a bottle, type bond. One disadvantage which I have to agree with, and this is one reason I don't glue the top onto the rim set on my acoustic instruments, is because it has very limited open time. You have to warm the glue up to use it, and as soon as it cools down, it begins to gel, and at that stage you can't really use it to join two pieces together. It has to be liquid when the two pieces come together. So open time is a disadvantage, but I have done it. I have managed to glue a whole top onto a rim set using hide glue. You just have to be quick. You have to prepare and go through, do a dry run to make sure everything's going to work at the right time. But it's doable. Another perceived disadvantage might be some people think it's not strong in the way that modern glues are. But again, I go back to the example of these pieces of furniture which are centuries old. They've held up perfectly well. The glue is evidently much stronger than the wood that you're gluing, because when you break joints apart, it's normally the wood that fails, not the glue. So it's plenty strong enough. I mean, if you want to do some kind of weird scientific test, you'd probably find it isn't as strong as some modern glues. But you just need it to be strong enough, and it is. Another possible disadvantage people think is that it goes off once you've made it up if you don't use it all. This is partly true. In old carpentry shops, they used to keep a pot of hide glue on the boil all the time in a water bath, so a hot water bath, not boiling in fact, and just add to it, but provided it's kept at that temperature day in, day out, it doesn't go off. It will if you let it cool, because it's a protein, it will get mouldy, but and I store it frozen, and that way it doesn't go off. So that really is a non-issue for me. One more disadvantage might be, but I see it almost as a positive thing, that it's not good at gap filling. So you need perfect joinery, ideally, to use hide glue. So there should be no gaps in your joints before you apply the glue. You could see this as a disadvantage, but it kind of forces good working practices and good tool use, good joinery on the maker. So it is what it is. That is a characteristic of this glue. But I think I've probably talked long enough. And in the interest of keeping this contribution short, I'm going to deal with my methodology in the next episode. And true to my sort of theme, if you like, there will be some everyday objects you'll see in my workshop involved with my use of hide glue. So until next time, goodbye for now.